That's
Hello, ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls.
welcome to Giants Live.
Welcome to the Natural Strongman podcast.
You're
Episode...
sitting dead close, it makes you look like a big old Jamie.
It's because I
oh, tequila.
yeah.
Episode 12
12.
of the Natural Strongman podcast with Jamie, Hope, Stephen Wiley.
Well done, good intro, Jamie.
Thanks.
This is what we're talking about. So we're going to talk about
Overall scores.
And the national comps. So Natural Strongman Nationals for the Four Nations have just concluded this weekend, and the overall scores, the tables are up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll talk about the comps as a whole and how it went and stuff, and then we'll talk about the scores and the athletes and stuff like that. So I thought it went great.
Not to blow your point.
No, but normally I'm not happy with stuff, but I was obviously nothing's perfect. Do you know what I mean? There was definitely teething issues, mostly with the scoring. Like having the overall leaderboards for each individual country, and then having the overall leaderboard for all four countries combined proved more difficult than we thought it would be. Strength results is absolutely brilliant, but it's like we found out it's like not built for high volume comps.
Yeah.
And like then trying to get them to combine other things, like comps together essentially, was quite hard. But shout out to Strength Results. The guy who runs it was actually on holiday in South Korea.
Yeah.
He was like helping.
Aileen was messaging him.
Yeah, so I overheard Aileen talking about, she'd messaged him and he'd come back and explained that on the back end there was X, Y, and Z happened, but he changed it and it had worked. And then on the Sunday, it seemed to have kind of done what it was meant to do.
So on the Saturday, Aileen was trying to put the scores in for England, and I was trying to do the overall scores.
Yeah.
But there was something like each overall score entry, at each box, it was taking like 169 seconds to respond before it did anything, which obviously meant I was lagging way behind. So we just sacked it off. But yeah, the guy was really good. And then on Sunday, he just said, you can enter the overall scores if you want, but what I can do is just pull it after, and then I can do it, and then you don't have to do it twice. So yeah, it was helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
Great, fantastic. And it's something that, like, as teething issues, it's something that we can then go back to him and be like, if you want to do this again, and maybe even on a bigger scale, can that be done? Can we start working on that now, basically? Yeah. Which was cool. So I thought that was great. Everybody seemed to buy into it. I think at first when it come out, it's always the same, like 99% of people buy into it, and then the 1% are the ones that are like, making a lot of noise online.
Yep.
But everybody seemed to buy into it, and anybody who wasn't bought into it at the start was by the end convinced. Even Martin Lennox.
Was he against it?
He just couldn't understand it. I was explaining it to him, and he was just like, he just kept saying, "I don't know what you mean. I don't know."
I can actually see that as well.
We had a conversation on Sunday night. Me, him, and Matt. Martin said he was like, I was the biggest critic of this. He was like, I just could not understand it. He's like, I just kept saying to Stephen, no, it doesn't make sense. I don't know what you mean. and then at the end he says, but I thought it was brilliant. I think we should just run all comps like that from now on. So
it was cool.
It's good to see Matt.
I think as you got towards England, obviously Scotland's is the first one, so that kind of set the benchmark.
Yeah.
And there was really nothing to aim for or compare yourself to. But then as we went on, there was more scores. So the English guys went in there a bar to kind of go for, and a lot of them smashed it. Like some of the performances on specific events were really impressive. We got talking about the event specifically, or
yeah, we can do it. Yeah,
I think but that point of the events all being the same was also really helpful, because I think last year there was just slight variations with stuff, and so you couldn't really compare. So like you knew how you'd done in comp, but you were like, well, like Ireland's had stone to shoulder for reps, whereas we've had a ladder. So it's like, how would a ladder fare, like me fare against an Irish athlete? But having them all the same was really good, because you could see then, or you've got a better idea going into the UK's. Like,
there was intentional stuff that you guys did to make sure that it did stay the same.
Yeah.
So there was the bar height for the sandball.
Yeah.
Where there was a mistake at Scotland's where it was meant to go from 44 to 48
for the men. Yeah.
For the men, but that didn't happen. So instead of changing it retrospectively and making it unfair. We just kept it at 44 for the Four Nations.
Yeah.
So then going into all the other ones, it was you could compare it.
Yeah.
So the kit was kept the same. So there was none of this disparity where they're saying, well, oh, but they had this and we got this.
Yeah.
It is really a sort of apples to apples comparison. And there's no change in the kit. It was the same kit that was used
which is
at
good.
Scotland and England. So nobody can turn around a bit, but they had this or they had that. So
Yeah.
I think it's cool content, and I think it really, like I say, it's going to set that standard going forward. I think it's something people enjoyed overall. Yeah. So there's going to be that expectation that it happens again, because I didn't really see anybody complaining at the end of it.
No, I think everybody liked it. And I think the good thing about it is, like, if you're a 57 or a 72 or something like that, and you're like, no, I'm not interested in that, then you don't need to look at it. You just focus on your category. Yeah. And you did see people doing that. You've seen people, like, Ewan was one of the examples. I'm like, do another rep. And it's like, no, just want to win under 80s in Scotland. Do you know what I mean? Which is fine. And then you get other people who are like Willow, for example, who's won the 64s, I don't know how many times, is like, no, I want to see how I can stack up. But then, interestingly, you then see, like, the negative effect of that as well. Sometimes for like smaller athletes being like, oh, I need to hit 100 sandball so that I can place high against everybody. End up not hitting it, and then taking 20, 30 seconds and then hitting less reps or something along those lines. So it's cool to see, but it's cool to see. I think the main thing with it was, like, adding something in to keep the top athletes from each category like involved. Because, like, this is the first time Muslims done Scotland in what, 3 years?
2 years.
2 years off.
Yeah.
And then
third year,
So, like, she's come back, obviously, like, tackled her enough that she's wanted to come back. Willow had already spoke about not doing Scotland's, and then the format got changed. She did Scotland. Laura Hollywood never done Scotland's last year. She came back, absolutely smashed it in the overall. And then even, like, when Rory O'Hagan pulled out, I know that Matty had told me Jeff Buckley was like, oh, well, do you know what I mean? That I wanted to go against Rory, but then he remembered, oh, I can try and beat everybody else. He didn't, unfortunately for him, but it was the thought of it that kind of kept him.
It's because he added 5 kilos to Sambal.
That's
why he didn't.
Progressive overload.
Sorry, Jer. That was on you, mate.
So there was, I think it worked in that sense. It got most of the, like, big hitters, like the people you can see going to Worlds, who are then like, oh, why would they do Scotland's? Why would they do England's?
You achieved that range where on one end you had a weight scale where people can come in, and if they're an open, but they've never done it before, they can walk in and they can participate. So they can pull 210, 240, and they know that they're not going to be competing with guys pulling 300, but then you do have a 300 kilo option, which is still inviting for the open men. Let's say for you guys, like, you have that 200 kilo option, which is engaging for you, because that's right. A bit of it being a 170, it would have been a rep fest at the top. But then you've got people coming in at the bottom end who admittedly wouldn't have done it.
But I mean, it was 180 at Scotland last year. It was a rep fest.
It was a rep fest. So you've added 20 kilos to that. But on the other end, you've also got the 125, 150 options for anybody who wants to come in and just dip their toes in. I think that's the other thing it will have achieved, is that there's going to be a bunch of people that have done the nationals across all 4 nations that wouldn't have done it otherwise, because it would have just been too heavy for them. They would have zeroed everything. They would have maybe got 1 rep on something, and they wouldn't have done it because it's embarrassing. It's a waste of time prepping for something you know that you're going to go into and get 1 rep over the whole comp. But this has achieved that, where you manage to invite those people in, they get to compete, and then they'll get to compare themselves next year, because they'll have a position on the overall leaderboard, and then next year they'll be able to say, right, well, I jumped 30 places.
Definitely.
But interestingly, because I did check this, only 1 open man in Scotland and England chose to go for the lightest option on deadlift, and none chose to go for the lightest option on overhead. The reason I checked it was because I had somebody in my DMs not that long ago, a guy who runs novice comps somewhere in England, who said to me, Natural Strongman are growing at the detriment of everybody else. Everybody else every other comp's getting smaller. And he said it's because you have made the weights too light, and now any novice with an 85 kilo axe on a 210 deadlift can do it. So nobody's coming to my comp. My comp only had 6 in it this year. Last year it had 14. Might have been in a car park, might have been a shit comp, don't know. But for one reason or another, the comps were less in it, and the conclusion that he came to was because it was Natural Strongman's fault for making that. So on that, my reply to him was, I sent him that, you know, the boy who won the overall, Berryman,
Yeah.
I sent him his thing and says, well, it seems to entice this guy over for powerlifting.
Yeah.
That can only be a good thing.
Yeah.
And would he have come over if there wasn't a good, solid natty pathway and he was able to come in and do, if he seen it and it was 260 for reps, would he have been fancying that comp? Or was he like, that's too easy? So that was my reply, but to which he never did. I would try to engage in a conversation with the guy as opposed to an argument, and he never replied. But I wanted to go check it anyway to be like, is that what's happening? And it's clearly not based on that. And on the flip side of that, you're seeing guys hitting 300 for 5-6, women hitting 200 for 4, I think, was the most, all in the same heat. And then you're also seeing like under 90s hitting 300. When the under 90s at national level, the 300 raw on a stiff bar for reps. They don't get to do 300 anyway. Never mind like raw on a stiff bar. So you're then getting to see stuff like that, the cool stuff happening from the weight classes. I think it's probably more appealing for the kind of middleweights. I know it's hard for under 80s, under 72s, under 57s and 64s, but I think it's appealing for the really good middleweights. Do you know what I mean? Tom Butts is another one. He come on, he stepped up to the 105s anyway. Now I gave him a mention because I think Tom always gets like on the superlatives for being the best 90 and whatever else. But for me, I'm always more impressed by people trying to.
He could have sat in the 90s and won it.
And continue.
And everybody's like, oh great, Tom won again, and Tom's that one again. But I imagine for Tom, there's something not very compelling about that. To be like, I'm going to win the 90s again.
Well, he's done it. Yeah. He's won worlds 3 times.
Yeah, something he could run through the 90s like it's nothing, and I think he probably would have won the 90s weekend. He came 5th in the 105s, 4th or 5th.
4th, 5th.
And to be fair, a lot of that will be a disappointing performance on the farmers.
Yeah.
And he'll be disappointed in that.
That's rubbish. It's not.
I mean, he said that for a while. Like, it's
so
such
he's got vegan grip.
Yeah.
But, you know, he could have ran through it, but yeah, pushing yourself up, jumping up a weight category to do that. Like, and you're right, I think the 105s, the 82s and the women, they're the ones that really you see in that
table. You will get a really good 90 and a really good 73 for Hollywood to be example, do you know what I mean? Being right up there as well, and it's good to see that. And for me, that's like, obviously I alluded to Tom doing it, but in general, it just gives those guys the chance to see how they stack up against the opens. Because you always get like the untested people being like, oh, if you want to compete against the best, you need to do this. And I'm like, well, you're not the best. You're not even nearly the best. And then also like that annoys me because they're like, oh, you need to come and compete against the best. I'm like, mate, you're in the 64s. Like, it's untested, but you're in the 64s. If you're obsessed with competing against the best, why you know? Do you know what I mean? And then from a Natty's perspective, I've had this conversation with Camilla before Champion of Champions when she's like, oh, like, this isn't fair. It's suited to the open people. And I was like, what's not fair? Like, you fly to America to compete against girls who are on 10.
Yeah.
That's not fair. It's the only sport in the world, like any other sport. So if somebody took care, they'd be like, no, you're cheating. And this one, you're like, no, you don't want it enough.
You're not taking
you're not putting your body on the line for it.
But I think it just opens that up and allows these people to be like, test themselves against the best, if you want to call it that. Everybody's in there, so whether you agree that the opens are the best or whether you think, no, the middleweights are the best, everybody's there, so you're testing yourself against the best.
And there was a lot of discussion last year about there being power rankings as format, and I know that people have taken stabs at power ranking the opens, but they kind of only looked at the top 10 opens in the untested scene. Whereas power rankings really should cover a much vaster scale, if you ask me. But this kind of does power rank people going forward. And it'd be interesting to see how those power rankings then transfer to things like UKs, Europes and Worlds. Like, do they stack up? Is there a way that we then sort of can look at them and say, well, you know, this is how they compared in their national comp in North America or in Australia, and start looking as these people come together. It's coming.
That's what I want to do next year.
So we standardise all the comps, all the qualifiers.
Just the first thing in the pathway. What I would love to see, and I don't even know if it's possible, it's just an idea. But it was an idea that was always the idea. This was phase 1. But the idea was always you have a global leaderboard.
I suppose you have tier 1 comps, you have a tier 2 comp, which would be like your UK's or your Asian qualifier or your North American qualifier, and in your tier 3 comps, they all get standardised, and then you go to Worlds. And that way everybody sort of is doing the same thing. I mean, it also just means that people can prep better. You know, the equipment's the same. You don't get people scrapping around trying to figure out what's what.
There is stuff that needs to start being worked on right now, because there was stuff even that still went wrong with this one, like out with the scoring, which is what it is. The scoring never went well. It just slowed the process down.
Yeah.
It's fine, but that's something that needs to be started working on now. But like, if you want that global leaderboard, then you need some sort of standardization of kit.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's going to be difficult in places where Cerberus don't exist, essentially, or Cerberus don't ship to. But also you then put the onus on promoters that they need certain kit, because you might say, oh, I want to run this comp in Singapore, blah, blah, blah. Well, you need to have Cerberus sandbags. And you're like, oh, but I've got 50 sandbags, but they're not Cerberus.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you do that? I don't think you can. I think if you my big thing is the integrity of competition. Like that's what I'm obsessed with in general. So like, it needs to be the same. And then what you would need to think about even is like, because obviously the CrossFit Open there, you would probably need the competition organizer to video certain things, like measured in 10 meters. Because
so that's the thing. Like CrossFit don't weigh anything. I said that to you before. Like they'll measure stuff for sure. They're really strict. Or like measuring out 10 meters, or like for handstand walks or wall walks or whatever, you've got to have like the tape spaced out and your hand needs to be in it, which has to be filmed. But they don't weigh anything.
I suppose you get to a point where maybe you're already officiating Natural Strongman gyms, but maybe there's a level above that where you say, well, not only you're an affiliate, you're a competition gym, where you've now done the prerequisite stuff, and you tell us that you've got this kit and that is 10 meters, and you are putting the trust in the gym, but you're expecting the promoter or the gym owner to maintain integrity for the competition. When you're not putting it to individuals.
Certain ways that it can be done, but
there's some of the things
it needs to start being worked on, like just now. But I think it's something that could be fucking amazing. I think it's something that could really, really, really push Strongman on.
There will be, and it's a good segue into it. Had a chat with Matty Sunday. We're going to push out our feedback form, a survey to everybody that competed in the nationals, to try and get people's opinions or views on how it ran, the improvements. So we're going to do 2 different sections for new athletes, but also for returning athletes, to say, well, we think this is better than last year, or as a new athlete, this is my perspective. But just to get people's views on what went well, what could be improved, what they enjoyed. It's quite extensive, but I think trying to get people's views on that's important. Because ultimately those are the people that are the members of the federation, the ones that are
and that's the people who are important, the people who are actually paid to be there. Like you seem like when the format was announced and stuff, like anybody who had anything negative to say, like wasn't he somebody who supported the pathway anyway? It was people, and that's what you get. Any hate that Natural Strongman gets, in my opinion, is from people who are insecure.
Aren't actually part of it.
They're insecure that Natural Strongman's taken over, and instead of working together, they think, oh, this invalidates my achievements in another federation, so I'm just going to hate on it or pretend it doesn't exist. Or instead of like working together and being like, oh, how can we all get better and make Strongman better? Because ultimately, that's the thing that I think stops small sports, which Strongman is. Growing is the cliquiness and the bitchiness. I read stuff about other strength sports, and I was just looking at stuff from kettlebell sport, and that was one of the things that kept coming across. People were like, oh, it's cliquey, it's this, it's that. And then people say it about Strongman, and I'm like, I thought powerlifting was worse when I did that. But in general, like small sports, that's the problem. Like you see it a lot, selling powerlifting, it's like, oh, that doesn't count because you've done it in that federation, or that's not good enough because that federation doesn't hold high standards, which I get. But like the animosity, like it needs to be logical. And is it logical the right word? I don't know what I'm trying to say. It needs to be like, I'm saying this because it's true, not because I want it to be true. Do you know what I mean? Like, if this federation needs to be better in this capacity in order to be taken seriously by these people, then that's fine. And the problem in Strongman is like, people are like, no, because this one's the best because it's always been the best, even though in a lot of ways that one holds the lowest standards for things. So it would be much better if everybody could come together and be like, right, cool, what are we doing here? Instead of being
what we're trying to achieve.
Instead of being upset that one person or one group of people are trying to hold high standards and trying to push forward, and everybody else being like, oh, you're stealing from us. But that's just my opinion.
It's a narrow-minded view, to be honest. And like you say, it's just going to stilt the sport. The sport's not going to go anywhere at all. But you're always going to have, I guess, pockets of people that think the untested is better.
Like Dan Hipkiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows everything as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a world-class strong.
Well, if according to him, you should just get rid of all grassroots level comps anyway, because no one ever does them.
According to me, you should get rid of him.
Yeah.
Cut that.
Yeah.
That's the cut. Thanks, Stephen.
Another lawsuit waiting to happen.
So you can cut that.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think like you're always going to get that. Like I've heard that for a really long time, that like the untested side is better. Like why do you not do the untested? But I'm not, like personally for me, I'm just not interested. Like the comps don't excite me in the same way as like the natural strongman stuff does, and natural strongman's always looking to try and do something better, whether it's standardizing the events or standardizing the weights or adding in a new leaderboard or whatever. Like the untested stuff doesn't really offer that, and I think it just, the pool of athletes smaller. Like if I want to see how I stack up against world level people, then that works for me. So
yeah, and as the pool gets bigger as well, you get people like Angelica coming in, and you really get to, like, people say, oh, like, who are these people? Nobody at the top's competing in Natural Strongman. That's just not true. Like, you get Angelica coming in, you need to run against her. And it's like, you know, she's...
And you're also getting people coming in now.
Yeah.
Like, they're entering at the
I know there's been a
first
interest from
experience as Natural Strongman.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, oh, this is the thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to growing up with it. That was one of the things for me with Andrea after Walls last year. I had a chat with her and was like, oh, do you want to go to Scottish Strong Swimming? We'll try and get an invite to Giants Live, blah, blah. And she's like, no, really. Like, she's like, I'd rather go up a week category, compete against Rosalind and Hope at Scotland's, go and later on in the year compete against Angelica and maybe Micah or something. But as opposed to, like, because she never grew up watching it, she's not like, oh, well, I need to do that. Do you know what I mean? And I think you're getting more and more people now who, when they come in, that's their first experience of it. And that's it, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sound like it's the only thing, because I definitely think there's pros to the untested as well, and it's good to have two pathways.
Yep.
And I think, especially for the men, well, the side effects probably aren't quite as dangerous of taking gear. Do you know what I mean? It's good to have two options for that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of class guys that I've competed against who are,
There's also people in the untested who could and are interested in coming over to the natural scene. I know you've had interest from people in coming across from OSG and whatnot that are interested in coming and seeing how they stack up.
Yeah.
And, you know,
G-Dog it? Did you see that?
Yeah. You know, people that are brilliant and world class at the untested, and now they're starting to see the natural scene. You know, it's obviously piquing their interest and saying, well, and they'll be interested in the quality of the comps, quality of competition, as in the athletes.
Yeah.
And they'll be saying, right, okay, well, maybe I should go and run against them. So yeah, I think it's all good on it. Like, it's a good trajectory for it.
Yeah. I think there's definitely scope to do both as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, and you see people that do that. Obviously, you've got people like Hope, like Rosalind, they're like, no, I like this.
Yeah.
This is good for me, and there's enough comps within the year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To keep me happy. And then you see people like Hollywood who are like, oh, I do both. I do all the comps.
Yeah, Camilla is all over the place.
Camilla do every comp.
She'll compete every weekend if she could.
I think that like also comes down to like capacity and availability to do it though. Like, 'cause if you think like, and obviously I'm just singling them out because you said them, but like Laura's a coach, and so is Camilla, so maybe has a bit more time and availability to do that, to maybe prioritize recovery a bit better or to do whatever. Whereas like, I also just think like, if I'm going to try and do Scotland's, UK's, Europe's, worlds, like I'll be fucked by worlds. Like,
I think some people in general just see me enjoy competing more. Like,
I
for never enjoyed competing
that much
several times a year. Do you know what I mean? But when you see like guys like DMV traditionally who would like in his heyday,
do loads.
12 times a year.
2 weeks in a row, do you know what I mean?
Like
sometimes 3 weeks in a row, although I don't know if maybe that's caught up on him now, do you know what I mean? And I don't know if that will catch up on Laura. I really don't know. Laura seems to look after herself well. Somebody I was really impressed with who has done that in the past and looks like they're doing a bit less now is Jess Tate. Like, I seen Jess years ago, I think you done the comp. At Chaos, the OSG
qualifier.
And she was really good then. And like the last year, maybe two, I was like, oh, she doesn't look like she's kicked on as much as I thought she could, but she was doing loads of comps. Like, she wasn't just doing Natural Strongman and OSG, she was then doing those novice, the weight class Chaos, whatever it was called. Ones and other ones, and it looked like anything that came up, she's like, I'm jumping for that, which is cool. and it's absolutely fine. And that's what you need to remember is like, it's an individual decision. But for me, it was good to see her taking a wee bit of time at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then coming back and fucking smashing it, and also not each other weight cuts.
I was going to say, because I think that's also what fucks Jess is the like cut, because she obviously she cut down to 73s, or she did for OSG Worlds, and then obviously came back up to compete as an 82.
Yeah.
Like, and she does really well as an 82. Like,
I think she's better at 82.
Yeah,
and I'd seen
100%.
something before she posted. I can't remember if she said 600 calories or 800 calories or something. I was like, I've done half weight cuts. Like, I know how it affects you. So I would love to see her now. Going to UK, going to Europe, to Worlds as an 82 and see what she can do there. But again, that's just me being selfish and what I want to see. It's up to her.
She was really impressive.
She isn't really impressive.
Our farmers were brilliant.
Farmers. She's always been good at farmers.
Add on a second.
I
She beat my time.
I timed it when I was, so obviously I knew what your time was. And I was watching the whole time, and as she was coming down that final 10 meters, I was like, holy shit, here we go. So she crossed the line, I got her.
I timed Anna Still Foxes because I was like, when I looked through the list, if anybody will beat it out with her. And I think she was a second or two behind you.
No, she beat me as well.
Oh, did she?
So I think me, Jess, and Anna are all within a second of each other.
Maybe I was
mental.
too fast.
So I think like my whatchamacallit, my time was like 41 point something, 43. And I think Anna's and Jess's are like 40 point something.
Yeah,
So
I think 40.6 and 40.85 respectively. So I mean, there's like 0.6 of a second in the three of you, which probably shows that the three of you have min-maxed that to perfection. You know, there's 0.6 of a scope for that. Maybe get better or worse. But yeah, it was a really good run from Jess. And there's a few other people. I remember watching the juniors on that farmers event. I was like, holy shit. Like, I don't know why he's going into it. I was like, juniors maybe not developed as much. They're going to be technically less impressive. And I watched it and I was like, well, you were wrong. I just removed myself for that one.
The junior men in England were class.
Yeah.
Like, there's like you see things when you go to the different comps and you watch the different comps. Like, the thing for me is always, I was like, oh, Scottish were the best in the world. But when you think of the population of Scotland compared to some of the other countries and how good the women are, I'm like, it's unbelievable. But the men in England were dynamite as a whole. But the junior men are so good. Like, I'm looking at them, being like, that's the next generation of Natural Strongman. You know what I mean? Like, Matty Track is unbelievable, and he just seems to be getting so much better all the time. And he
filled out a wee bit actually. When I seen him on.
So he was 100. So I spoke to him earlier. He was 110 kilos competing. So he practically could have weighed in at 105. With a slight weight cut. And he did.
Martin had his weight probably was about to.
I think he should just focus on like not cutting weight and just seeing how big he can get. I'd actually suggested it as well. I was like, I'd love to see him in the 105s. But then I think he was about 105 at the time when I said it.
But when we look at overalls, we're going to see that actually in the 105s, he would have stacked up really well.
But he would have also cut weight.
Yeah, but not if he's competing at 110. It's not. I mean, as a man,
I know, but it is still unvariable. Because I hate when people are like, oh, if this person was in that category, they never cut weight for, then they would have done this. I'm like, yeah, but they never cut weight. If they did, that would have been different. The outcome could have been different. Because everybody reacts different to weight cuts. You might be like, oh, it's only 5 kilos. Like, to some people, that's hard. And especially somebody that's not used to cutting weight.
Ironically, for Scotland's, Lachlan, if he had made his weight cut, would not have done as well as he did in the 105.
Exactly.
In the 105, because he didn't have to cut, he had a really good time, amazing first comp, which was crazy. But then, going into the 90s would have caused him a massive deficit, a really harsh cut.
I think
he was going to have to cut like 8 kilos in a week. So he went for the 105s on his advice, his coach, and he done really well there.
I think
so Matty like ran at the same time.
I think his coach got advice to his coach.
I wonder who his coach is. He must be really, really wise.
It's
handsome and ginger.
Domino effect.
Dornant was right, yeah. You're right, good Dornant. I think the Matty Track, also sent a message to the 105s. He says that if he decided to go for the 105s, he would have won it easily. That's from the horse's mouth, so
well, I'll be back.
Cut that as well. I think, and then the other person I was really impressed with in England was Sonny Marwood.
Sonny's good though. I've seen
I honestly thought he was going to double it. And then I was refereeing my lane. I was refereeing my lane, and I was like that, and in the corner of my eye, kind of looking across, and he cleaned it, and I was like, holy shit, focus on my lane, and then I heard it hit the ground. I was like, imagine coming out, not only breaking up world record, but doubling that. That'd be pretty cool. But then that's the format.
You must be squibbling my mouth.
Yeah, get him. He's not allowed to. He's not allowed to referee world records ever. I think Mark hates me. So, you got it to the rack and down. Nah, it was really good.
I gave first off down command in 10 watts his deadlift.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've still not seen it back, but he was grinding, right? I'm sitting in front of him, and he got it. I gave him a down command, and I thought nothing of it. And then as he was walking off, he was like, "Thanks for that." And I was like, "Well," and Josh was videoing to the side, so I said to Josh, "Was that dodgy?" And he was like, "Nah." But he said, and then I was like, "Let me see the video." And he was like, "No, it was fine." But I was like, "You would have just been like that. It was fine straight away." So I've not seen the video back, so I
did. It made me laugh, like when Tom was doing his overhead, because you were reffing him, and I think like it was maybe one of those last ones that he like kind of wobbled and dropped it, and you were sitting there like. But it was the smile on your face.
I think so. No. That was one of the things that I really thought was good this weekend was the standard referee. Yeah. I'm not just going to smoke it all arse, but like
you give some those goals, man.
Imagine.
If you think the standard refereeing was high, then you want to watch him just go off the lane.
So I was just about to say that you gave a dodgy down on Tom's day.
See, that's the thing. I said that myself.
But Chris is playing it down. Yeah. So obviously it's obviously the military referee. Chris is straight on with the guy that's refereeing, and I've got an angle on him, so I'm basically a side ref. Yeah, and I can see a different perspective on it. From Chris's perspective, it's great, and you know that's fine. He gives it down command based on what he can see.
No, I think this
overall,
yeah, I think this other was good.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing Natural Strongman undoubtedly, does better than anyone else.
It does better than anyone else. Can still be better.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing. It is so hard, and it is. It's hard when there's that many thousands of calls over the weekend.
You run the risk of
somebody's upset about one. Do you know what I mean? It was like UK's last year, until that point, was probably the best comp the Natural Strongman had ran, and you had people talking. Very, very small group of people. They only think they're talking about one down command general got given. Yep. And when you look at it back, you could make an argument, even watching it on there again, that it never actually stopped moving.
Yeah. I think that's it. When you make
it's a hard thing to do, and it is like I'm joking about giving Tom a hand. I'm not happy about it. Like I've not watched it back fully yet, but I will. And it's one of those things. Like if I did, then
if you're making, just like you say, there's thousands. Every comp has thousands down command. Yeah. Worlds, we had 250 athletes doing attempted max overhead. Yeah. You got 5 attempts, 1,250 down command.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're going to argue about 1% of those being slightly out, there's nothing you can do about that as a human error. Even at the top level of competition at World's Strongest Man, the refereeing is not that good. Yeah. It's softer. But then we run the risk, and it's something that I know we're trying to manage, is if you go too harsh with the referee, it becomes unfair that way. So you need to manage it in the middle where there's a good standard and it's upheld, but you don't push it to the point where you're not giving down commands
and fail people for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't got people obsessed with making it hard, whereas it should be fair but not difficult to get down command. If you're locked out or stacked, like there's no reason to be like, I'm going to inspect this, or actually I wasn't happy with this or that.
Oh, but the rule is like, I remember you and Matty saying that before, like if you hold it for 2 seconds, that's what the judge is counting on. Like you're stacked, you've locked out something overhead, you should be able to.
As an athlete, your perception of 2 seconds and their perception of 2 seconds are completely different. You know, you're an athlete, you lock something,
which is why I say, you know, and the rules. We tell the refs 1, 2 down, once you've stopped moving. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you count 1, 2 down.
No.
That's it. So there was one of my guys who had it overhead, and I can see from my perspective this elbow's coming down, and he keeps pushing it back up, but it keeps coming down, and I'm just watching him. I pointed at the elbow, and I could see him trying to push it out. I just couldn't get him it. And then at the end, I kind of just jumped up and I said to him, "Look, the elbow's still not locked out. You're coming up and down." He's like, "Yeah, I know." And I'm like, I can see it because you know about it because you're trying to press it out, but you know. There's an argument to say, well, it's locked out for a split second before it comes back down. But I need it to be, clear that you've got that under control.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that we've done well. Obviously, we introduced the appeals process this year, which let there be formal appeals and a process as to how those were put in, how they're managed.
Yep.
And I think obviously you were involved in that England. You were the appeals officer.
Yes.
So Hope got the joy of working with
You still talking about these appeals?
Sorry, we don't have to talk about it. At least somebody's interested. We're talking about legitimising it.
This is so.
I think things are done.
So tell us about your appeals process, Glenn, in your office.
I'll talk to them about it. You can shop. So I
Hope knows he was the appeals officer.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
We're talking to these people, not each other. You just be quiet.
We should put a wee vote at the end. Did you enjoy hearing about the appeals process? Or do you want to talk about the car?
Choice is going on. I'll put on my.
Well,
I'll
you
put
finish this before we go.
Anyway, respond to this. Post this on your stories if you thought that the appeals process is a good development in Natural Strongman, or if Stephen Weller's a wank.
It's a
Those are your
good
two options.
development. It just doesn't even be a 20-minute segment on the podcast.
Okay. We'll move on.
Yeah.
You done it in the I done the rules meeting, right? So remember the rules meeting, like the briefing, the athletes should know the rules, but I'm done and you've got like athletes have got like 15, 20 minutes to warm up. And he's like then goes into an 8-minute lecture about the
60
appeals
seconds.
process. And then Kayla's like, I want to tell the athletes something. I don't even know what it was. What was she talking
So
about?
Stephen gets to go up in his soapbox for 5 minutes and shout at them all.
I'm telling them
Call them all
the rules
wanks.
to go.
I call them all wanks, and then I want to tell them something that's important, and he's like, nah, come on, move on.
Like,
So
the appeals process, if you want to go to that person, that's the person that you hang with. That's it. It was
So
a
wait,
minimum 10
we'll
seconds.
get an objective view on it. Was the Saturday worse than the Sunday for the appeals? Yes or no?
I was about the same.
Oh, fuck off.
Your 8 minutes be able to waste it.
Waste the time. Get that.
Then let's talk about the event. So,
So the event.
yeah, we'll go through one by one. So deadlift first,
Yep.
Yep.
4-weight options.
Yep. Women's was 125, 150, 175, 200. Men's was 210, 240, 270, 300.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
good range. Anybody could pick anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was 2 bars out, so even if you'd gone for the heavier one, you
The
could-
fallback. And a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So I think the bar got a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people obviously have trained on maybe bars that weren't as stiff.
That was one of the
Cerberus.
stiffest bars I think I've ever put
Yeah.
a deadlift on.
Yeah.
Well, I had a conversation with James Peters after Scotland's, and he was like, "Oh, I think it was like the double mat plus the spring floor that was making it too soft." And I was like, "I think it was a bar.
Yeah, it was
I
a bar.
could be wrong." But then in England, we never had that floor. It was a solid concrete floor, and it was the same problem. Everybody.
A lot of people came out with confident at 300.
Yeah.
A lot of people have hit it in training. And then they get into that bar and they go to pull it and it just does a shift.
Yeah.
There's no whip in that bar at all.
No.
And it was super gnarled. So people that were getting it to the knees to then try and hitch it,
Yeah.
they were trying to pull it and it was just biting in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a lot of people got caught up by that. So the fallback then gave them that sort of second option. They weren't out there zero in an event.
Yep.
They could jump back in. And a lot of people did.
Yep.
Jump back in, hit 2, 3, 4 reps, which is good. Put some points on the board. But yeah, I think the deadlift performances overall were really good. It's a good event, and then again the range lets people that are maybe not as confident come in, and they can jump instead of having to do 200 or 175. You guys, you can get open women that maybe aren't in that range.
Yeah.
Can come in and do the 150 option.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just a cool thing that now at Scotland's level we've got 200 for reps as a
Yeah.
thing for women.
Yeah.
So I think Roz and I were saying that too, or the last time Roz did Scotland's, I think the deadlift weight was 160.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the 82 weight was 155. So
Yeah.
we've added 40 kilos on in the space of a couple of years, but just because the standard's just getting higher.
Exactly. You need to do what you need to go for the people,
Move with the
but
times.
also keep pushing it on so that people need to keep pushing up. The athletes need to keep pushing on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the standout. That heat with the 40s pulled 200 for 4 was probably the best part. Also, deadlift for reps. Really, all the strongman events, the world deadlift for reps is the best event.
Do you think?
Deadlift for reps is the best strongman event.
So I would prefer a ladder. I think bring back a deadlift ladder. That's more fun.
Too many players, man. You head out with 4 lengths.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you'd have to have everybody 2 lanes at a time or something.
Yeah.
Well,
It was, I think it was
16 bars.
the first ever night worlds.
First
was
ever
that.
night worlds.
We had a
deadlift.
deadlift
First,
ladder.
I was actually looking at all the events from all the night worlds.
Yeah.
And the first one was the best.
Yeah. The events were class.
Fingers.
Yep.
Finger for reps on that one as well.
Yep.
What else was in it?
We
The
had,
Hell medley.
yeah, the hell medley was fucking disgusting. You had an overhead medley,
Yeah.
deadlift ladder, yoke, fag throws, squat for reps,
Yeah.
fingers.
Yeah. Whoever picked the events for that one was.
Well,
Pure
just
psycho.
genius.
Yeah. Anyway,
Standard performances on the deadlifts.
standard performances. That heat, the 3, then Hope,
Yeah.
Andrea and Rosalind all doing
I was down the line for them watching it, and I was
at
like,
the same time.
that was so cool.
But also Mary Egan, I think, pulled 175 for 4, which, as somebody who knows that Mary's never been a great deadlifter, I think that was really cool. And I think Rachel Jackson pulled 175 for 4 in the 64s as well, which was also pretty cool. So shout out to both of them.
Yeah.
Shane Hurley's 300 for 6 was cool.
Yeah.
Is it Josh Berryman? I just can't remember.
Berryman.
Josh Berryman. Berryman come out, he done 300 for 5 in 16 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's got... So he comes second in the overall, and he wrote in it, he got disallowed one of the reps because he dropped in the actual, because he dropped
on the floor.
which was in the rules. But he said, I would have won if I never got that taken off me. And I was reading it thinking, no, you would have won if you just won a deadlift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you could have done, but it was really cool seeing Shane Hurley coming out right after that, like 300 for 6. So that was cool.
That's a benefit position, wasn't it? Like, he comes out, he knows he has to pull 6, pull 6, probably have more in the tank. Like, pull 6 in 30 seconds, isn't he?
Yeah. And I think John Ginty pulled, it was like 32 seconds. I think I was referring. John Ginty in the under 80s, I think he pulled 270 for 2 or 3.
That's cool
as well, which was cool. So that was standards, I think.
Event 2 was Axel for reps. So options in that were what? Remind me, 55, 65, 75, 85
for the women.
For the women, and the men's was 100, 150, no, 85, 100, 115, 130.
Yeah.
Again, same setup. So you have 2 bars set, your option, your pick, and then your option behind you.
Yep.
So if you don't have good warm-ups or you miss the rep at your chosen weight, you've got a security fallback.
Yep.
So again, I think a good setup on that. When it is a static lift.
Yeah.
That was good.
Actual, never going to be as good as Log, but
Log is the
bad
best overhead event.
Nope.
Log is the best of them.
Yeah, in any format for reps from the chest, max, it is the most entertaining strongman overhead event.
It's not.
Log's
It's
the
the
best.
worst.
And then
It's the worst.
Strongman.
Anybody who says it's not,
Actually,
it's just
a
a
flat barbell.
It's absolutely not a fat
It's
part.
open
Flat
leg barbell.
barbell that doesn't rotate or oscillate and destroys your joints. We should just use barbells, really, but Strongman. But yeah, Long's the best. But actual for reps, it was so good. It was good to watch. I hate Apollo's rules with passion.
Yeah.
I hate everything about them. We should just use bumper pad because we only use them because of the way they look. I'm one of those weird, one of the only people that doesn't care about how stuff
I
looks.
suppose, but then it is like you said, but Log, you're saying it's strongman. The whole Apollon's wheels with Axel, is strongman.
Yeah.
Very classic strongman.
What I mean by that is like Log is a strongman event. What I feel with Axel, like if you're a weightlifter or whatever, you can just come in and you'll pick up Axel. But it's Log, you need to work at it. I remember seeing Faye Pittman when she just started, she was like almost at Axel world record level within a couple of months, but Log, she took her time.
Yeah.
So
It's a different
I
skill
love
set.
Log and Circus Dumbbell for that reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, Apollo's wheels, I think for me, it's like, I get the thing of like, oh, it needs to look like this, it's strongman, blah, blah. I feel like that started in the 70s and 80s with World's Strongest Man, when it was like, people didn't know what it was. And people didn't have any concept of what weight is. We live in the age of information, like people know what 300 kilos is. Do you know what I mean? People know how impressive, for the most part, 300 kilos is. Like we don't need to be deadlifting a car anymore, I don't think. But that's just me. But anyway, it was a great event to watch. And again, was it 85 for 4? Did that hold up? Was that the highest?
Yeah, it was.
Which again, the 3 of you guys hit side by side by side.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
No, sorry. Andrew was in the first heat, the heat before yours, and then you and Ross hit it almost synchro.
Yeah.
The last 2 reps that you guys hit were like absolutely synchronized.
Yeah.
Your 4th press was like picture perfect side by side, which was really cool. I know that obviously you thought Ross was going ahead of you.
I know.
So
I didn't
you were
think
pushing for 4.
she's a faster presser than me. And she's stronger overhead than me. She gets it to her shoulder. She presses it much quicker.
Again, I had that
Don't say
perspective
like
down the line.
push jerks it, so she comes back together. So I could have sworn she was on 5.
Yeah.
I could see her in the corner of my eye when she cleaned it, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to try and clean this again." I'd never done more than 2 in training, so I thought the 3rd I was pushing it. And I was thinking, "There's no way this 4th one's going to go above my head." But I knew Andrea had done 4 because she'd gone out before me. I thought Rose was on 5, and I was thinking, just gonna have to try.
Yeah.
But no, she
It's
was
good
on 4.
though. Yeah, you guys side by side, literally, as you pressed, locked out exactly the same time.
Yeah.
Really cool to watch. Sonny Marvelous for me. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was class.
Yeah, really fucking cool to watch him almost double a world record at 130 when
He's
he's
so efficient.
whatever weight he is.
Like,
Yeah, his clean's so efficient.
Yeah.
Means that when he gets it to the chest, he's got everything left.
Yeah.
You know, whereas some people use 60% of the power
Yeah.
just getting into the chest and then they're fucked.
Yeah.
Like he's 2% and then he's like, right, time to go.
Yeah.
Really cool to watch.
There's an Irish girl that I thought was really good. She's 73. Her name's gone right out of my head now, but I think she, oh no, she's 64 actually. Was it Faye Lowley? I can't remember.
What?
She's like, she did 75.
She said something, was that?
Really?
Sounded like you were having a
Well, I wouldn't. A zombie.
Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Ewan very nearly hit that 130.
Yeah.
Looks like he was,
He should have had that.
yeah, he was a little bit out. And then,
If he committed to it, I think he would have got it.
yeah, the other stand-up performance for me was Luke.
Why? Because you fucked it.
Luke hitting the first one and then going for the second one.
Luke hit the 130, didn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah.
Yeah, he did, and then went in for
he
another.
went in for a second one,
Yeah.
even though he didn't beat it,
think-
and he paid the consequences.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt bad for him because I thought he was going to do really well.
Yeah.
This was like a really good year for him. He prepped really well for it.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate.
No, for me, the standards was again the three girls in Scotland hitting 85 for 4.
Yep.
And then Sunday Nash hit
And then
130.
But shut up.
We're gonna find out in a minute.
Maeve Frawley, her name is. I was
Maeve
close.
Frawley, aye.
I was close.
What did Maeve hit?
She did. She did 65 for 2, but like I get her pressing just looked really class.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like really snappy.
A lot of the opens guys in England were just like hammering it.
I have to say, like, actually, like, there were certain parts of like Ireland and Wales that I missed, but like Josh has done like a class
Yeah.
job in the social media for all the
I was
comments.
talking to Josh about this earlier because obviously he put that thing up like 1.5 million views.
Yeah,
And I asked him, like,
Definitely.
you've done a really good job. And he's like, it's just good timing because of X, Y, Z. I asked him back saying, well, that's fair enough. You've been humble, but you could get a dozen different people
Yeah.
to do what you've tried to do with the same setup
Yeah, yeah.
and you would still have done better because he's just got an eye for, he knows the athletes really well. Like he's
Yeah.
so invested in Natural Strongman. He knows who to watch.
yeah.
Like the couple of times he asked me to go and take videos when he was taking a break, I was up like, get the fuck out of video.
Did you
So I-
say you overdue for shit?
No, to be fair, I took a lot of videos, uploaded them all, and he was like, the quality of them was really bad because it uploaded badly.
Right.
But then there was a few of them that I got more of Hollywood Sandball set.
Yeah.
And then I got the one
Did
where
you get that? I think that's a TV watch, huh?
I knew that Warren was good with Sandballs. I got the open seat, the final open seat with Alistair Fox.
Yeah.
Because they were all going bang, bang, bang. I was like,
Yeah.
that's really cool. And I got her celebration. Well, I forced her to celebrate then. I went up the lane and I was like, park the camera. And I was like, give us a wee. And she done it. She's like, I hate that. So, yeah,
he did-
I
he
think
did a
Josh
good
done such a
job.
good job. And then
Yeah.
I also shout out to, like, for Scotland's Hanley Spence jumped in because
Right.
Josh wasn't there.
Yeah.
So Hanley was actually recording the media
Yeah.
and then uploading it live with captions to explain what was happening. Josh was then picking it up, uploading it live. Managed to figure out that, and I think that's going to be what we do for UKs is where Josh is going to be there, but somebody's also going to be there capturing footage, so
Yeah.
Josh can just be posting it out live as it happened.
Yeah.
So you're going to have like if you're not watching the live stream, you're not watching the comp,
Yeah.
you're still going to be getting live updates as to
Yeah.
who's doing what.
Yeah.
I think that's again a massive development from previous years where it's maybe not been as good.
Yeah.
Where Josh has stepped up the caliber there.
Really stepped it up.
Yeah,
And then
that was
obviously
good.
captured that moment where Sharon decided to take out one of the athletes for no reason.
That was class. That was I was looking at all the views, like that was like by far the highest.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to point out that was my idea.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, you need to post that like
Yeah.
Strongman referee.
Well, he'd said to me, he was like, "Oh, like I'm going to ask that guy's permission, like in case he's."
Yeah,
I
offended.
was like, just post it. If he doesn't like it, you can take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't ask Sharon's permission.
Yeah.
Did you see it? She just ran out and rugby tackled
Yeah.
for no reason.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
That's
You
not
seen it?
what
Have you seen the
happened.
video?
Yeah, I've seen that.
She just rugby tackles him.
That
what
was
it looks like.
Like Terry Crews.
So event 3 was his fell for distance.
Yeah. Killer of an event. But
Yeah, 95.6 thousand views that has had got
Yeah.
Sharon's video.
Yeah.
see,
He's Sharon the Builder, man.
can't go over me.
Who's a fell for distance? Who's a bag for distance?
Yeah.
For me, 2 standard performances in Wales. Ben Gillespie, 130 metres,
class.
which is nuts.
Yeah.
I think it's 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Like that's flat out the whole way.
Yeah.
And I think Andrea was the highest across the women, with 111-ish, even though she
had to run it back, so she probably
missed the line.
Yeah.
she had to walk back, hit the line. She probably could have been close to 120.
I think she would have got 120 because she was like 3-4 metres out, but obviously you're turning, it's slowing you down,
Yeah.
which would have been cool. But she got away with it anyway, so it's fine.
She probably lost 4 or 5 seconds on that.
Yeah, I really like that technique of kind of having your hand underneath it.
Yeah.
To stop it slipping down. Obviously, you need to be a certain size to be.
You need the
able to do that.
leverages to be able to do that and hold it there.
But yeah, so that was like 90 metres, 90 kilos for 112 metres-ish for Andrea, and then 130 kilos for Ben for 130 metres. And that Ben won that overall as an under 90 as well, which is cool.
That's
That was cool.
That was the highest, yeah. So very, very cool. And Ben Gillespie also went and done the Ryan deadlift. He went to the light bar and pulled the rep on it, and obviously the rules are you can't change. But he did it by mistake. And the caveat with that was somebody's like, oh, like, he must have not known. I was like, he was running a comp.
Yeah, so you should have known.
If you didn't know, then that's...
It's also cool that he's running the comp and competing in it and doing well. Like, difficult to do.
Yep.
When you've got all the comp stress and then you've also got all the organizer stress.
Yeah.
I've tried to figure out how things move, and so kudos to him for that.
Yeah. So that was for me. And Dad,
I think, like, for me in England, this feels cool because as a referee, obviously you're moving with them.
Yeah.
So you get to see when they hit that wall. We're aware of the time. Yeah. So like, we're feeding back to them and saying, listen, you're 10 seconds out, keep moving. You see the live feedback of that, like he tells them they're 10 seconds out and they just put on the afterburners. They kick on and it's like they go and get another 10 metres in. I think that's really cool. So seeing some of those performances with people really digging deep and managing just to push themselves all the way.
Was you playing Snake or before?
No, I'm trying to find the one of the 57 girls at Scotland. She had a really cool technique of like picking up the bag, but like she sat down really low and like slapped her arms around it.
It's on the Natural Strongman.
Amy Coyle.
Yeah,
because she like sits down all the way, takes her hands off, and then grabs it and goes. Josh put it up as like, what's these techniques do you want to try? That was cool.
No, it was cool to watch like firsthand because as well, like, she's the only person I've ever watched because she sat down midway through that run and did the same thing. I was thinking, like, how the fuck can you do
Usually
that?
when they sit down, they're done.
That's it.
Like, you sit down, you're going to get another 2 metres, then you're done. You just can't recover properly.
No, she recovered and then moved for like a good distance. It was good. So yeah, no, it was a cool event. I actually do prefer the metal one that we had at Worlds, I think last 2 years ago.
I prefer the bag.
Yeah.
The good thing with the metal thing is it's foldable, so it's like really easy to transport.
Yeah.
As opposed to like 10 different ways.
But bring back the metal.
Yeah. I like the sand one also. Cerberus liked it as well, apparently.
Well,
but I mean, the good thing is at least they're using the Cerberus type bags.
Hope you're sponsored by Cerberus now. You can't be about shouting about metal Isabels.
Cerberus can make a metal Isabel and then I can't shout about it.
We'll get it.
Sorry. I think it would be a loadable metal hood still that was like, you know, the ones in the middle are rubber, they've got rubber around the outside. So if you drop, you don't destroy them. Because that's the biggest problem with the metal ones.
They just chip concrete and destroy the mats.
So that would be cool. So if anybody wants to make that, Cerberus, factory weights,
please,
strength shop, anybody.
Did you purposely wear that t-shirt for this?
Yeah. I got changed into this.
Such a nonsense.
JK10. Check out for 10% off. Do not.
Do you know Jamie's raging that now I'm sponsored by them as well because he's worried that everyone's going to use my code instead of this?
No, I'm not worried, but I know what's going to happen.
You should change your code to something like
I'm going to change back the
cheeseburger 10 then people get funny.
Diabetes 10. Diabetes, but that's sure Rem's called then. Sorry.
I can't believe he's still sponsored.
I know.
The
guy's been dead for 2 years. He still gets royalties into Cerberus. That's mental. So we move on to event 4. The most controversial event, in my opinion, but also I've got some opinions about it because obviously I watched it multiple times, hundreds of heats over the weekends I was there. So self-loading farmers. For the women, it started at 30 and it went up it started at 60 and it went up in 10 kilo jumps. So at 60, 70, 80, 90. You would go 10 metres, you had to put your own plates on, and then you had to carry back 10 metres. If you dropped them, then the 10 metres you were done. And you see a lot of people kind of getting confused about that, or the adrenaline would carry them. So it'd be like, they drop it and then they pick it up again and go.
That caught so many people.
We had to jump in and be like, you're done.
It's almost like people don't read the rules, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think people know the rules, but they either think that
I just don't think that.
in the moment they're like, fuck, I need to pick these up and go. Or they think, I seen one guy very clearly drop them and pick them up immediately as if to go, nobody noticed that. And we all noticed. He had to come back 10 metres and load them again. Obviously, it's taxing your grip, but there's a technical element of that where you have to be accurate with the plates, which I thought was really entertaining. I know there was a bit of criticism as this event that got announced, because the guy that came up with it is a bit of a dick.
And then everybody was wrong, and that guy was right again.
I think I'll be the first, right? I think the guy's a dick, but it was one of the most entertaining strongman events I've ever seen, and I got to view it from a perspective where there was two big crowds. First at the Wishaw Sports Centre, and then again at the Box Park in Liverpool. Both times I saw it, where there was a close heat or there was somebody really struggling, you had the whole crowd invested in what was going on.
Yeah.
There was hundreds of people watching, cheering on the edge of their seats, being like, holy shit, are they going to make it? And that's effectively what you want. You want it to be entertaining, you want it to be challenging, and it achieved both of those things. So, fair play.
There was people come up to me at both comps and say, "Oh, like that was the one just was."
Yeah, so that's exactly it. At Box Park,
like
screaming.
I think the thing is, like, when it was announced as well, it was like when it was conceived, we didn't think, "Oh, this is an amazing event." We were like, "Not every comp's perfect. No matter what you do, somebody's not going to be happy, but we're going to try this format because we think it can be something that really, really helps grow strongman, and we need to make it farmers fit into the format."
Yeah.
So this is what we come up with as the best alternative. We wanted, like, this is a great farmers event. We didn't even know if it was going to work. Sometimes you need to do that, do you know what I mean? You can't just sit
take the risk
and play the same events every year because you know the people only going to kick off about it, do you know what I mean? Like, if you want things to grow and change, you need to try things. So we weren't sure if it was going to work. Nobody was sure. And to be honest, like, even
You've done it in a con.
I've done self-road farmers.
a team comp.
I think that was...
No, I think he's done it.
Oh, you-
I've done
comp.
it at Scotland's under 90s.
Yeah.
20,
I thought it was in one of your team comps.
2019.
He did put it in a team
Team
comp,
Team
but-
comp,
teams
it
of
was
the
farmers,
farmers.
and so you had to change your farmer.
Yeah, okay.
It's on and off. But no, I've actually done it. It's been done loads of times in comp. So people were kicking off, and I'm like, but it is a strong
Right,
man.
so don't do.
But obviously there was like 3 loads.
Yeah.
But I think by the end, that 99% of people were convinced, and even like going into it, I didn't know how it was going to go. I was like,
It was good.
Work.
I
But
enjoyed
that's the thing is, people put front holds in comps. You know what I mean? It's like the worst event of all time. Matted.
Awesome.
But yeah, I was really, really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it was.
And I think that, like, strongman people practice transitions, like people practice like the Scala things, do you know what I mean? And you could see like who had actually practiced it.
How long did you practice it for in total?
3.4 hours.
Right, so that's like, it's something that literally takes 7-8 seconds. It's done well, and you practiced it for 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
that's wild. But it paid off for you, and you can almost put money on Aristotle Fox has nailed that.
Yeah.
Jess Tate's nailed that.
I think that's. I think it's one of those events where, because I've seen quite a few girls post that they'd never practiced it before, or they hadn't spent any time on it, or they'd maybe done the event twice and they still smashed it. So I think it's up to you. Like, it's one of those events where, like, I know Farmers is a good event for me, and I'm quick across the grounds, but I thought that that event would be won and lost on those transitions. So that was why I think practiced it.
Yeah, if you're fast across the ground and your grip's good, but the person next to you is also fast across the ground and the grip's good, then you're looking for any way to win. Do you know what I mean? That's what sport is. Like, for me, people being like, I don't like it, so I'm not going to train it. I'm like, cool, I hope you're happy.
Don't because you will, yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was very exciting to watch.
Yeah,
Scotland's was the best example of it, I think, because you weren't the fastest across the 10 metres for the first 10.
No.
But you were 6 metres ahead at the end.
Yeah.
You won that heat by 6 metres to Roz or Andrea. By the end, you pulled ahead massively. It was all in the transition thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't a perfect run, but you still managed to gain all that time back.
Yeah.
And that's like...
To be fair, I'm like that with Farmers anyway. I can't remember if it was one of the UK's, maybe the first one that you had ever run. It was max distance Farmers.
Yeah.
And I remember that coming just after the OSG qualifier, and that's the one and only time I've ever lost farmers was to Lou at that OSG qualifier because I was too busy watching what she was doing and I dropped them.
But that was a race, wasn't it?
That was a race, yeah. But I think like that was a good lesson for me is that I know I'm slower, like sometimes off the mark, but I will make it up because I won that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was a race, like 9 times out of 10, Lou's would beat me in a race. 9 times out of 10, you would beat Lou at a carry for distance.
Yeah.
So like that, it's like also knowing, oh, I'm behind these people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's
So
not
then-
many people in the world who are faster than Andrea or 10 meters.
Yeah.
It's fine
Over
to be-
5 grand, yes.
It's fine to be behind after 10 meters. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. What Hobson she's learned is like not to be looking and be like, "Fuck, I'm behind," and panicking and dropping that
100%.
because you can almost guarantee that Andrea's going to drop the plates.
Yeah.
Because she's got learning difficulties. So it's like, hello.
Big gangling hands. Send them.
But I think that was the other cool thing about the event is that there were so many ways to load the farmers.
Yeah.
Like everyone kind of had their own way of doing it. And like, I think over me practicing it, I learned that if I keep one foot planted inside the farmers and going out, it was better. But you've seen lots of folk jump out, kind of pick them up and then load them up. And to be fair, like they still finished it within the time. I remember the first time I practiced it, I was thinking, there's no fucking way I'm finishing this in 60 seconds.
Yeah, we spoke about it and been like theory crafting, how do we finish this? How do you do this? What's the best way? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Then we kind of come up with like, you're going to have maximum like 8 seconds per load.
Yeah.
And kind of work back for there. I think your best loading time's what, 5 seconds?
Yeah, four was my quickest. But and I didn't do that in comp at all. I made mistakes in comp, but it was fine. It was still. But I think it was a good one to. There were so many other variables that, and I like the
always good.
Yeah, 100%.
I think also like people be like, oh, it's not strongman, but there's so many things that are strongman. There are just technical learning points, like transitions between different implements, how you turn in a yoke, how you turn in the farmers.
Yeah.
These are all technical things that you could take out. But oh, it's not strongman, so we're not going to do it. But like strongman is so technical.
Yeah.
Like when you break an event there, it's all just different technical little bits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I totally disagree with
But
that.
it's still finishing 40 metres weighing 90 kilos of hand farmers for the women and 130 for the men on the strength shot farmers handles, which are unforgiving. Do you know what I mean? They're thick, they're not grippy.
No.
Do you know
There's
what
no
I mean?
knurling on them.
There's no knurling on them. That's the thing. Like we got those handles come brand new.
Yeah.
We sanded them, didn't we? We sanded them and poured liquid chocolate all over them. So they were as sticky as they're going to be. But they're still the strength shot handles. And that when it come out and the men are like, oh, it was only finishing at 130 a hand. I'm like, people and the women are like, oh, it's only finishing at. People are going to get shocked. And you've seen that, and especially in England, because down there, like last year, they were like, oh, we had 140 hand, or was it 130 for 30 metres or whatever. But I'm using those farmers handles that are like that thick. I'm like, I've used them, they're not farmers handles, like, it's not a grip event. Like, it's how fast can you run a bend, like, which may as well just a yoke. So it caught a lot of people out, and then people were like, oh, like it's the handles that are slippy. I was like, they're not slippy, they're just not grippy.
Tom Butts.
Like,
Tom Butts made the excuse that the farmers' handles being slippy before the event.
But they're the same for everybody. Do you know what I mean? It's like Tom's great, but he's like Camilla. Camilla and Tom remind me each other. Camilla's like one of my best mates in Strongman, but also the person who I've had more arguments with than everybody in Strongman combined. But when Tom or Camilla give you feedback on a comp as a whole, what they mean is this is how it affects me personally. This is how that event plays out for me. So I don't think it's fair because it's not good for Tom's wee slippy hands.
I suppose it makes sense. Like they're extremely competitive, so there's going to be an element where they're focused on their performance and just their performance. And it probably comes back from their competitive nature. The other highlight for me was the junior women in England. Their farmers' heat was fucking Millie and Darcy. And there was another one.
Darcy Boca, and who was in third again?
Fuck. It was terrible, I can't remember. But I remember watching the heat and being like, holy shit. Like, never in a month of Sundays would I said those 3 girls were going to do as well as they did. I think 3 of them finished that.
We all finished it.
I remember standing there and being like, fucking hell. Because I think that maybe was the first heat where they'd all finished it. And I was like, fair enough.
Millie Flanagan was very impressive across the weekend. It was good to see junior women, because last year there was junior women's named in it. So there was 3 of them, and they were all good as well. That's what's good about it. So for me, the highlight performance, although
Lily Burgess was
Although the time was beaten in the end, the highlight performance was still Pope's, because when people watch that, they've then got time to beat. They then get to see that technique and practice it more.
Yeah, there was
and
quite a
see
few
what the
English
thing
folk
is.
had messaged me, be like,
Yeah.
please send me your techers because I want to see
Yeah.
how you did that.
So
should
I
have
think
responded,
like
"Fuck
the
off."
fact that you went first for me still makes it the best performance. But also shout out to Jess because she's small and small people tend to have small hands. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive for Jess to finish that.
Yeah.
Never mind finishing in 40, 40.
Yeah, no, she wasn't like watching her because I think it was flawless. Like there was no mistakes made.
No mistake. She nailed everything.
Yeah,
I was refereeing and I was
Yeah.
like, I remember watching her coming down that final 10. I remember watching her load and being like, because I'd seen so many heats, I knew how it was going to pan out.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the stopwatch thinking, if she gets this in X amount of time,
Yeah.
if she's up by this point, she's
No,
going
I
to
said
be
that
off
to
the way.
Aileen. I could see her from the score table. I could see her coming down. And I was saying that to Aileen. I was like, she's beating that.
Yeah, I remember looking over at the score table after I'd seen the time on it and I was like,
yeah, Jess's was class. There was a few good. I think the junior men's as well.
Junior men's was cool.
savage to watch.
Was it Rob McGee? Is that the
Rob
one?
McGee,
Yeah,
the
his one was
ladies.
class.
yeah.
But he never won. Did Little Johnson not win the 105?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, because
yeah.
there was a mix-up with who was in
There
what
was
team.
Captain Autism that Josh come over to me and like, oh, this has been input wrong because they were in the same heat.
Yeah.
And Rob McGee finished.
Yeah, but
before
Little Johnson was on his own.
So then we're going to check it, and they
Yeah.
weren't even in the same heat.
No, they weren't in the same heat.
Yeah,
Um,
but Jonathan Little Johnson was class. His
Yeah.
farmers was class. I can't remember whose was the quickest, but of the men, I don't know whose was the quickest
So
overall.
I think they were I think like most of the guys were sitting maybe about the 45-ish second mark. And yeah, I think Jess and Anna took were about 40. That was the fastest.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I think it's Jess, Anna in some order and then you third overall. I don't know about the men's. I wasn't, to be fair, I wasn't doing that for extension.
but it was good. It was good. I think like it was cool as well just watching those near misses where like
Yeah.
they dropped it
That
just
was
with
so
one line.
many.
Ewan Coggins and
Yeah, there's probably a dozen of them over the different countries where they were carrying them in. They were clearly struggling. That's what gets.
that's good to watch as well.
Yeah.
You see somebody that's like maybe a metre or two behind,
Yeah.
and then the person in front of him goes down, and then they're like, and they just made it happen.
If you're not a strong man and you're there at the event and you're watching it, you can see visually that that's heavy as fuck. They're struggling.
Yeah.
And they might not make it to the line.
And it's
which then
nice.
gets you going. And there's somebody else 2 meters behind them that could overtake them.
Yeah.
That's easy for somebody that's not a strong man to be like, this is exciting, this is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like
And
a 300 kilo deadlift, they maybe don't
and-
have any sort of relativity for that.
Yeah.
And if it
What
was
is-
head to head, is always good to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not moving a bit to your favourites.
Yeah.
I've seen you jumping up and down about 6 feet in the air, but moving a bit.
Yeah. I don't say that, and my knees are fucked.
No, that's not true. I've seen it recently. I've seen it in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're jumping up and down, screaming and shouting.
Yeah.
You don't believe it.
That's probably why my knees are fucked.
Event number 5 was
Sample.
the Cerberus sample over yoke,
Yep.
44 inches.
Yep.
The women had 8 to 900.
No, 68.
No, 60 to 100. The men had 100. What was it?
120,
140,
140.
100, 120, 140.
Yep.
I was impressed with the amount of people in the lighter weight categories came out and took the heavier option.
Yeah.
The 100 kilo. A lot of the juniors came out hit the 100 kilo.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, obsessed with these juniors.
Yeah.
both on both sides.
Bit nonsense. Well, but the junior men want to take 100 kilos as a heavy option.
No, the 140.
You just said 100.
Both sides.
No, the heavier option.
One of the juniors.
I said both
take
sides.
100 kilo.
Shut up. And then some of the, Tom Butts had an impressive performance on that. Matty Tracky.
This is going to be junior classes, yeah, for sure.
Did you not put on like a 12 to 16 year old class?
That is not till Easter.
Yeah.
No, it's
Why is your face coming red?
because it's embarrassing. Fuck's sake, man.
Wait, we'll keep that in.
I'll make them a PVG coming back, so we'll see if I can. You need to start
Tonight.
doing PVGs for Natural Strongman.
Yeah.
We'll do an update where you talk about how it was denied.
Yeah, it's I need to do one of those apologies. I'm like cuddling a pillow, you know what I mean? So guys, I made a mistake.
Yeah, just that much for man.
Yeah,
Just like yeah. I was having a hard time though, but look at all the good stuff up.
yeah. My mental health is bad.
So sorry, yeah, you love the juniors.
On both categories, really entertaining.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by both of them.
Yeah.
But the Matty Tracky, Tom Butts, and then the Opens guys, just is he a jail? Is he a jail?
Yeah.
So I was rare for him, and as I do, I got right into it, and he put the 5th one over and he was like getting ready to walk away. I was like, fucking do another one.
Yeah.
And he got another one, yeah. And I was so excited I forgot to count it.
I think.
Yeah.
I put him in his 5 and he was like, I got 6. I was like, oh, change that.
I think that like it's cool seeing the refs doing that.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, chill, a wee bit.
I know how you felt.
I was watching one. So at Scotland's in particular, the refs were really on it. We're like stopping with the hostel for distance, being like stopping there.
Yeah.
Oh, you never got that extra 2 meters that you ran because it was after the whistle. And at England's, like, I noticed like Sean was like, "Wah!" And I was like, no, this is just what I did 2 meters or nothing because you're supposed to celebrate with her. Which is great. Like, it's good and everybody loves getting support in that. But sometimes I'm like, tell a wee bit, like, remember, jump first and then celebrate.
I think that's it. Like, I do enjoy the aspect of being able to be side by side with them.
Because they're all volunteers.
Do another one. Yeah, that's it. Like, it's not, you're not a paid referee where you've got to sit there stone faced. And I can't help it. Like, you see, if I had to do that, if I had to just sit there stone faced and not interact with the athlete, I just probably couldn't do it. Because I do get right into it. Like, going with the Husserl, like, walking up and down, you see them starting to struggle, you can give them those words of encouragement, but you're not changing anything. And also, I think if you do it for every heat, you're not picking favourites. It's not like you're like, I'm going to do it for you and nobody else. Yeah. Like, I'll do it for every single heat that comes out. Get the same level of interaction from me. Sharon's really interactive. Yeah. I think the good thing, obviously, there was all the referees are the same. They're all going to be like, keep fucking going, don't stop. Do another one.
Encouragement's great.
And we won't let it get in the way, or Sharon maybe does, between...
Or just knocks people over.
Between tackling athletes. That was wild. Like, still can't believe it. Can't believe she's done that.
But no, like you said earlier, the standard refereeing was great. I think everybody appreciates the refs getting into it as well.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Actually, the sandball over yoke for reps was my least favourite bit.
Same.
Yeah, I think so too.
As the reason being, as I said earlier, my main thing with these comps is always the integrity of competition. And what I didn't like is the difficulty of filling sandballs and making them the same. Yeah. And when you start getting people being like, oh, I'm not in that lane, am I? Because that one's not as good, that defeats the purpose for me of why we're having it. And I did see some heats where I was like, I'm not convinced that was 100% fair. And that gets to me. Because ultimately, my sole goal as going into these competitions is for it to be as fair as possible, so that the person who wins does so as fairly as possible, and everybody can be happy with that. Whether you win or lose, you know you did that. It was because that person beat you, because you were better than that person, or they were better than you. And that was just a very small thing. And I could be wrong, it might not be, but it just looked at some of them. Do you know what I mean? Particularly, I could see in Scotland, people being like, oh, I'm not in that lane, am I? Do you know what I mean? And some of the boys, when you're moving them over and you're moving them in between, I'm like...
They feel different. I noticed that, like, I moved a bunch of them, and then you see people come out and they just, like, they're caught off guard. They go lifting and they're like, what the fuck? Like, that's either that's a lot heavier or that's a lot easier than a fall. And you can see it in them. I think also, like, the bags at Scotland's were brand new. So we try to chop them up and treat them as best we can, but there's only so much we can do. You know yourself, using these bags, they get that sort of, they start to take shape and take form, and then they come into their final form. Whereas when we just filled them the night before, there's not a lot you can do, apart from chuck them about. But even then, unless they get lifted and loaded, they don't.
No, it does. I know, but it will help. Like, I've been saying since August, we need to get it back.
I get that.
Go to a week to come.
So I think
it's just something to go forward with as well. Do you know what I mean? I think something, and people listening to this can start making their own assumptions. If you're doing something globally, maybe just a sandbag for reps is a better event. Yeah. For that reason, or you use these balls that you've had for 6 months, but can you do that globally? Like, if you're doing something at Worlds, and you're bringing all the balls yourself, then you can do that. But if you're doing it globally and it's on different places, you can't guarantee that they're the same. So as from the perspective, and I think it's important to acknowledge these stuff yourself, because so many people run comps and they're a shit job and they just like, oh, it was brilliant, it was this and that. Whereas I feel like this was one of the best comps that I've ever seen. But still, it wasn't, from my perspective, I'm like, there's still one or two things that's slightly annoying me, and that's one of them.
I mean, like for me, just overall, just to run back to that, like the quality of the comps were good, quality of the athletes were good, the events were fun, but also just the amount of people that were there.
Yeah.
Like I seen Scotland's last year.
It was sold out.
It was sold out. We had to put extra seats out. They sold out.
Yeah.
We were at Adapt last year, and there was a decent crowd there, but it was nothing like this. There was like 400 people there.
Yeah.
To watch a strongman comp.
Yeah.
In Wishaw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go to Box Park, it's free to come. There's hundreds of people there.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are people that just walked off the street.
Yeah.
They'll come to the Box Park and then, but I'd go up to them and I speak to them and I'm like, oh, you here for the strongman? Like, no, we came here for food and drink. But like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Like that growth is something that difficult to measure, but visually you see it.
Yeah.
Really cool to see. Anyways, we think about the next year.
Sambo, over you. Stand-up performances. Hannah Ross, I think, did she win overall?
Yeah.
Hannah won overall, yeah.
8 reps.
Yeah.
And
Matty Tracky won the men's overall 8 reps.
did somebody else not get 8 as well? Did Tom Butts not get 8?
Yeah, Tom caught it.
Did he get 8?
Yeah.
So there's a tie on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tom had a point to prove after his farmers. So
Yeah.
I think
I think
Also, he's just...
he's also just really good at it. Yeah.
Tom, like, so I said this at Champion of Champions. I was on the live stream and somebody was, I think XY is going to beat Tom in the sandbags. I was like, I wouldn't ever bet against Tom.
I don't think...
Honestly, I was Emma Grunnell.
games.
Emma Grunnell says, oh, the person going against Tom's going to beat him. And I was like, silly. Tom and Sandbag, just like War of Hollywood, they just have a thing with them.
Yeah.
Where they're just, I remember watching War of Hollywood at Worlds and she just won with a sandbag.
Yeah.
She's in control of it. She moves fluidly.
Yeah.
He's the same.
I think, and just loading in general, and it's the same with Hannah Ross. Like I said,
she's got good runs
I
for it,
think
like.
Hannah's the best loader in the world, or at least one of the best loaders in the world. Like,
Yeah.
and the same, like she put up a video of like the stone record that she done in her first comp, and her technique was so bad. Like,
But she's
I'm
just
like,
natural.
well, she's just obviously kept doing it. She's natural, but she's also went and worked at it. And yeah, I thought Hannah's sandball was very, very good, and I think that was probably my standard performance in the women. Obviously, Laura's always good as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tom Butts and Matty Tracky, both being lighter guys and both doing that as well.
Yeah.
Is absolutely fantastic. Shout out to Cahill McNally and
I was
Ireland.
just about to say that was one of my favourite things to watch.
So I compared it. You ever watch a horror film where the main character is being slowly chased down by the villain?
Yeah.
That's what it's like. Jared's going.
Except
going.
the main character is also the villain.
Yeah.
He's getting chased down
But he's
by the good guy.
but he's bleeding out because he stabbed himself.
No,
But he's going to tell you on Instagram that he stabbed himself.
No, I think that
What
was
did you-
that was good. Like, because I think their techniques were so different. Like Cathal just kind of like rolls it in steadily, like up, over, like move. Jerry like picked it up, ran in, like threw it over, and was like running around the yoke.
Yeah.
And then I think there was a point where Jerry fucks up the lap to load it. Cathal just loads it, turns around to look at him, and then just walks around the yoke.
That's what I mean. He's just got that, I think, attitude of I'm going to go more pace, it's going to work.
Yeah.
It goes all the way to the whistle.
Yeah, Cahill general was...
He was really good.
I think
Yeah.
he's working with Dale for 3D strength now.
All right,
But
okay.
the thing with Dale is like he just makes people strong, and he makes sort of the work capacity good. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot to be said for that, especially in this age of, do you know what I mean, of coaching, if you want to call it that. And I think there's a lot to be said for like making people strong, making the work capacity good, and making a better strongman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a cool thing to watch. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched and that's all I could think of. It's like something at Scream or Skinny Me
Yeah.
Later.
Just unfazed. He was like,
I
yeah,
wanna
it's
make
fine,
that
I'll keep
meme.
one.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel bad for, I do genuinely feel bad for Jack because he's kind of always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Yeah,
I think-
but if it was
he helps
everybody
himself.
else, like, no, he doesn't help himself. Like, everybody, like he's memed so many people who have for like lizard clumps and stuff.
yeah.
It's good. Like, it's fun. Like, I would love him to win, but it is also fun.
You'd never hear the end of it though.
Yeah, I know.
Jack can never win because you never hear the end of it. I remember that time.
He's number one in the Islands either.
Yeah, I know.
No,
That
it's
is,
not. Yeah.
Shane Hulley beat him, and Rory beat him twice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl. So yeah, fun. Stand-up performances of the whole thing. Obviously, Josh Berryman and Andrea Gaffney won the overalls.
Yep.
So absolutely fantastic to them. And yeah, and anybody else that finished higher than you expected them to. I think it's Warner Hollywood coming fourth as a 73.
Do you want me to do a quick video for
It's
the...
pretty good.
I think like not necessarily she probably finished where I would have expected her to finish, but I will say it was actually just really nice to see Anna Stelfox back.
Yeah.
I
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Like, and I said that to her at the comp, like, It was really, her and I had kind of chatted just before England, and I know that she was unsure whether she would do it, and she wasn't sure whether she actually wanted to come back and compete. But she said after England's, actually, she was like, "Nah, I remember why I love it. Like, I want to do UKs," which I think it just was like I know she's had a shitter of a year. So yeah, it was cool to see her back on the comp floor and just doing things that Anna does. So
I think for me, the two that came to mind when I looked at the table, I'm just looking at it now.
Melanie Flanagan. You're like, is there any younger? Is there a sub junior?
Michelle Leary. What was
He's got nice now. He's gone
the oldies.
They're the masters.
I really love Masters.
Michelle Hope just said that you're old as fuck.
I'm trying to balance out my average by saying nice things about you, Michelle. She won't care. Michelle and then Jen Baxter.
Jen
Baxter. Good to see her come back. She was 4th in the Opens of Scotland, is that right?
Yeah.
So like really good performance from her. I'm sure she'll be happy with that.
She was just inside top 10 in overall, I think.
She's
she was.
12, so yeah, you're right. And then for me, Matty Tracky, like considering junior 110 kilos. And then the thing I like about Matty is he knows he's good, and he's got that little sort of star element to him.
Yeah, but he's not wank about it.
No, he comes out, he does he plays to the crowd, but he doesn't act like he's better than everybody. He still does the bit of like, I'm good, I'm entertaining. I think that's the thing, like, you can be a really good athlete and not be entertaining. But you can be entertaining and be shit athlete. He does this good balance of the two. He comes out, he backs himself, but then he performs well. He's not like others where they come out and like, I'm the fucking best, and then they don't show up. So yeah, I think my always impresses me.
So if you were to describe two athletes, just so that I can visualise, so you said you can be a really good athlete but not an entertainer, and you can be not an entertainer but no, you can be a really good entertainer but not a good athlete. Are you talking about Rory O'Hagan and Jar?
Yes. You know, when I thought you were about to ask me for 2 examples, and I was going to say they're both either. Well, I mean, Rory O'Hagan, shout out to Rory. Did really well the weekend as well. I thought that was so funny. He's getting interviews. I'm just not really good at speaking. I was fucking creasing.
He's such a cool guy, man.
He's so good, man. And you know, he does his thing. So he shows up.
Like Giants said, he was natural strongman, like the strongest man. Like
I didn't even know that. We were watching it, but we were all talking at the same time, so we wouldn't really.
Yeah, they called the witness.
Sparrowman said that a few times.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
which is I didn't expect because it's then like the admission that we're not natural. Do you know what I mean?
But I think like
most people didn't go to the things don't know.
I know, because that's what baffles me is that like I was saying that to you I think over the weekend. There was like a CrossFitter guy that outweighed Mitch Hooper, and he was like, oh, I just can't believe that he takes all these steroids, and I'm like,
because Mitch has never announced he's doing the enhanced games to challenge the deadlift record. So then people are like, oh, he's got the enhanced games, that means he'll be taking steroids. And it's like,
where have you been?
I mean, I suppose he does World's Strongest Man, and they claim to drug test. And
Hooper's actually put a YouTube video out saying,
no.
Oh, we don't take drugs, like as if.
Well, he also said the best way to grow strongman was to have more tested competition. He said that his opinion is that the top levels of the competition should be tested. And although that would create a bit of turmoil over the next few years, it would create a better sport. Not just entertaining wise, but it would be a better sport as a whole. And I tend to think he's probably right.
But I mean, it was cool that they said it about Rory. Like, that it was.
And Rory's just class, man.
I know, he's so good. Like, he's just a freak of nature.
If the boy Berryman can keep getting better and keep learning the sport, by August, because he pulled that 305, he could have pulled 304. But
easy. Another 3.
Yeah.
I think. I could be wrong, but I think he could have.
They looked at RP4.
Could he challenge Rory? Maybe statically at the set, especially like, and then could you have DJ Dog there as well?
That'd be an interesting.
And then Nelio coming back, the Australian Bills 50 Thailands. He's already said he's coming back. He was second behind Rory. You could be looking at some.
I mean, the Opens this year could be really entertaining. At Natural Worlds. Like, if you get that combination coming back, the open men's could really be growing.
For me, that's the only thing that, like, stops natural. The people will always, do you know what I mean, say is, oh, but the open men are theirs. Do you know what I mean? So I think that seeing that start to turn is, like, very exciting. I already think that the women are better. You know, I'm not saying that the outliers and the best in the world, like, I'm not saying, like, Rebecca Robertson and Nez or whoever aren't the best in the world. But I think when you go through the list of names, like the density, I already think the women's is better. But when the men's, the closer it goes to the opens, I think the better. There's a gap between the
You just have to look at things like, actually was on Reddit the other day looking at something to do with Natural Strongman, and Paul Smith commented on it, saying, oh, a bunch of people from Worlds 25 pressed 170, and all of the comments on it, are you sure, blah, blah, blah. But actually, think about it, Stefan pushed 190, pressed 190, which is, like, you go to any opens competition, and the guys that fail 190, untested opens, I'd fail it, I wouldn't even could it. But what I mean is, like, the top guys in the world, there's a bunch of them when they people press. Paddy Haynes can press 190. But he's going to World Strongest man.
He like, come fifth at World Strongest man.
Yeah. Like Stefan Bistro pressed it like it was. He would have gone again, I think, if he got a chance. But I think it's interesting, like, these people need to go through the pathway. They can't, there is no
soft invite.
There is no jumps, there is no soft invites, there is no popularity contest, beauty pageant. You have to go through.
To you about Giants, I was like, how do you even qualify for that, like, other than winning the national comp?
Well, you can qualify by winning a national comp.
But it's also supposed to
you then, a lot of the positions are filled by people that are returning or have done a different level comp and are coming back.
But yeah, I like the fact Natural Strongman doesn't do that.
Yeah, which is fine. There's two sides to it. I always see it as like Strongman's, do I call it circus? Strongman's show and Strongman's sport. That's what I see it as. And I'm interested in, as much as we'll slag off Dan Hipkiss, right, and be like, oh, I just like all the freakish things. Like, it's fine to be like, oh, that is what I like. I like the show element. I like that. Because we've spoken about it before, and you've said to me on the Natural Strongman comps, but other comps like, oh, you should do the intros, you should do the flags, and all that. And I'm like, I don't mind doing that, man. I think
you're right in the sense that there's two parallel things. There's the show, which sells out arenas and makes shit tons of money. And then there's the sport, which needs to be refined. And
but who needs shit tons of money, though? Just
well, somebody needs to shit tons of money.
Somebody's making the athletes.
No, they make moderate.
No, I was genuinely just asking because obviously, like Steve Coyne, do you know who that is? He posted a thing about like top 10 and
seen that.
25. When you go outside the top 3, like it's pretty low. Like it shows you just how much, like we get so engrossed in it to the point where we think so much the whole world, but like, it just shows you how small it is.
I posted about it after Dan Hipkiss posted his thing, and I was like, well, my view on it is that for it to be sustainable and to grow, you need more people interested in it, because the way to generate revenue is to have more people involved in the sport. So more people competing creates more family and friends that are aware of it, creates more people watching, creates more people as fans, creates more people buying merch, and it just cycles round. And it needs to grow perpetually the same way it does. And the more people that can walk into the local gym, or they can just go and do strongman, the better. Because I mean, you draw the comparison, it's like football. You can play football anywhere. You play football with 2 jumpers and a ball of rags. You need to be able to do strongman.
And that's why I think like the first competition in the pathway should be like not standardized to a T, but like it should be accessible. Do you know what I mean? Like I think if you start making it all medleys and whatever else, and people need to like
complicated kit.
We had the issues with rubber stones, didn't we? We tried to bring that in, and people were kicking off that it was too expensive, which I get. No, I had this conversation with somebody at the weekend because like I still think the rubber stones are the best alternative. Right. But the problem is that not everybody can afford them, so we can't use them because.
So not also like they don't go up. Like obviously you get like.
They only go up to 120. Yeah. Which is like, good enough for open men, and even 105s, even for children. Older than you need heavier again. But the reason that I think is because what I said about the sandballs there is like stones. Like we done Scottish Strongest Man under 105 a few years ago. I've got 2 sets of stones. And they're not, and they've got 2 full runs in the end that are still here. Well, one of them's here. 2 8-base stone runs and 2 sets of stones for the 105s and for the 90s. The stones didn't weigh the same. And that was to Steve Atlas and Jones, who's the best at making stones. It's impossible to calibrate that stuff. So you imagine you're going head to head with another guy in the biggest comp of your career, and you get to the end and you're loading a stone that's 176 and he's loading one that's 184, or the other way about. You're loading one that's could be 8 kilos heavier. He's loading. Like, if we were to legitimize sport, you can't have that. And then you've got on attack issues and stuff as well. And that's why I think that stuff's more suited to the show. And even the sandballs, I think, are in the middle. The only problem with the sandballs are good because they're affordable.
try to calibrate them.
Yeah, they're affordable, but like calibrating them is difficult. We'll just don't figure it out yet.
Yeah.
I think but it might happen soon. We'll keep working on it.
But I think that's it though. That is case in point, is that you're willing to keep working on it. You're not saying like this is perfect and this is what we're going to do. We're not going to change anything. It's like this was really good and it was a good, like the best set of comps we've run, but actually there's still stuff that needs to be improved on. And just
There's always
figure it out.
stuff like
There always will be.
yeah.
I think that's like,
But it's the willingness to do it. Is my
yeah,
point.
because you
Like,
could dig in and be, no, this is what we're doing, fuck yous.
Yeah.
But like,
Which I wanted to do with the rubber stones.
yeah,
But at the same time, you're like, right, cool.
it's easy to do though, because when you've got a good idea, like I think you were quite intrinsic in developing that product. So when you build a product from the ground up and you know that it works and you know it can be good, but then you run into problems, it's easy to just go, fuck off, figure it out. But it comes back to the more people involved, the easier it is for a gym to justify buying kit.
Yeah.
Like if they've got 2 athletes that are doing Natural Strongman, trying to buy £500 worth of stones doesn't make sense.
It's meant like that.
I know, but
That's the problem.
as an example, right?
Yeah.
But if you've got 15
yeah.
and they're all using it, it's like, well,
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's more justifiable.
Yeah.
So the size of the competition then makes this kit problem a bit easier to manage because it's spread.
Yeah. The other issue with the rubber stones is the fact that it's only shipping in the UK.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you can't get them in Europe, can't get them in America, can't get them in Europe. But I do think, like, from a pure integrity of sport competition, that is the best thing to do. Shoulder. Other maybe a normal sandbag is next, but I think stones are probably last. And I know people won't like that, hearing that, and they're like, "Oh, that's stones, a strongman." Whatever else, I get it. Like it was my best event. I love stones, but I'm the same. Like I always was like, I think deadlift suits are stupid, and I think they're hindering the growth of strongman. And part of the reason I believe that is because of what happened to the powerlifting when the IPF became a thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's all raw.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we're going to add women's and weight categories and whatever else and make it accessible, and it just exploded.
Yeah.
As a strength sport, it's by far the highest, like, participation wise, unless you crossed it as a strength sport. But even then, it's recent. So that's my kind of thing with it. And I think the same thing about tacking.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's different because I'm good at stones and I'm not good at sit. Do you know what I mean? But as if you took tacky away from me, I wouldn't have been good at stones.
Yeah.
Because I would struggle with the grip element here, which is actually good for sport, not for
Yeah.
me. And that's being able to be like, don't look at it from your own perspective. You need to look at it. If you really, really, really want the sport to grow, you need to be willing to be like, oh, that doesn't suit me, but I think it's the best thing to do anyway.
Yeah, it's that objectivity to be like, although this is how I feel, I can see the other side of it.
Also, this is just a wee side thing that I've been thinking about the last couple of days. If we normalise deadlifting without straps, farmers with a ton and rubber stones, we wouldn't need to do all these stupid grip events.
Fair enough.
Be interesting though.
Yeah, be good for you.
No, my mixed grip deadlift's not as good as my strapped one, but I've not worked enough
You
races.
get to be fair, I like some of the people that were clearly powerlifters.
Yeah.
With a powerlifting background, who would get strapped in, go to pool, not like it, fuck the straps off, they'd go in with the mixed grip, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then they would inevitably pull it through, and I was like, that's fucking class.
So don't get me wrong, like I think like it's good to have both in your back pocket. Because I remember when we were doing the deadlift ladder, like obviously the faster you are not fucking about with straps, the better it is. You can bang 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 through a deadlift ladder. But yeah,
good, fun, a fun set of comps.
Yeah, it was good.
Well done to everybody who took part.
Yes.
Well done to the athletes. It doesn't happen without the athletes. Thank you to all the volunteers who were absolutely fantastic. Even you, Jamie.
Even me.
Even Jamie and Chris Crawford done a wee bit.
We did a little bit. It was just a little bit, and we'll be there at UKs and Europes and Worlds undoubtedly to do a little bit more.
You're not covered.
That's okay.
What I've said is,
My man.
it's had enough for you.
That's okay. I don't believe that. I mean,
Conor Mulligan's taking your place.
that's cool. That'll be fun.
He's better than you in every way.
Well, it's weird because I took his place in the top 3 in Scotland, so that's fine.
And on that note, thank you everybody for listening. Staying at it. Am I allowed to say that?
That's too much. You're going to get sued.
Yeah.
That's it. You're done.
Stay
Happy.
happy.
It's actually worse.
Yeah.